Hey everybody, welcome to the Celebration Bowl post-game show here in Atlanta from the HBCU GameDay studios. I'm Tolly Carr. Joining us, we got a four-man crew, the Four Horsemen in the house. You see the final score. What was it, guys? I lost track. 4 overtimes?
Yes.
4
Crazy.
overtimes.
Insane.
40-38. South Carolina State down 21-0 at half. They come back to win it in 4 overtimes. I'm Tolly Carr, Stephen J. Gaither, Wilton Jackson, Josh Williams in the house. We'll just go right down the line. What did you think of the game?
Speechless.
All right, next.
Man, that's not how I predicted this game to go. I never would have expected 4 overtimes. I mean, great game, especially for two teams that people didn't think that this game was going to deliver. It absolutely delivered.
Josh, 21-0, halftime. I was ready to start watching, I don't know, Murphy Brown or something, man. Josh doesn't even know what Murphy Brown is.
No, I don't. I don't at all. I don't at all. But 21-0 at halftime, I'm like, oh, God. It's going to be another game where I'm here.
Josh, treat that mic like a
Oh, my
popsicle,
fault.
man. There you go.
21-0 at halftime, I'm like, oh, man. Like, it's about to be a blowout, and that's exactly what I didn't want. I didn't want to blow out. I wanted it to be a good game. I wanted it to be interesting. And when South Carolina State got that fumble and they scored, then after that they came back, got a 3-and-out, scored again. I'm like, oh, my God, we might have a game.
All
and
right,
then the 4 overtimes speak for itself.
Josh was on the sidelines. He shot all the highlights. Let's talk about the game. Let's check out Josh's work as the 10th Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. Josh, take us through there, man.
I mean, man, like I said, man, it was crazy. Starting out the game, Prairie View just looked dominant, absolutely dominant. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be a blowout. This doesn't look like the South Carolina State team that I seen versus Delaware State a couple of weeks ago. And Prairie View just looked like they was just dominating the front offensive line. Defense was being able to cause pressure on South Carolina State. And I'm like, oh, man, like, it's going to be one of them ones. But, later on down in the road, South Carolina State managed to, come back and get a huge key stop on defense, which led to a fumble to go on to have them get a touchdown, as we're currently watching right now. And that was one of the first of the early touchdowns that they had in the second half of the game. They came out and scored 3 touchdowns back to back to tie the game back up 21-21. And after that, it just got super chaotic.
Wilton, you talked about quarterbacks. Stubblefield thought he wouldn't get any action probably coming into Atlanta, but he turned out to be the MVP.
Yeah. This is not – I think if we were playing a game of bingo, we never would have thought Stubblefield would have been the guy to get that award, let alone be the guy to lead this team to victory. But he was absolutely that guy for South Carolina State today. You can only just – be sad for William Atkins IV because he didn't get a chance to play in this game. But, I mean, again, when you have a backup that can come in and deliver passes, I mean, he was like Stubblefield was absolutely dialing it up. Like the second half, he was unreal. I mean, when you start talking about how he was able to connect with Jordan Smith, I mean, my gosh, Jordan Smith had about, 120 30
Felt
yards.
like 200.
Yeah,
Felt like 200.
Yeah, he had his fingerprints were all over that second half, and so you look at what he was able to do. If he's not able to do that, South Carolina State is not able to win that game.
Steve, did the Prairie View defense get thrown off with the quarterback switch?
I think so, a little bit. I mean, he is, he's the backup. He was the backup last year when they came to the Celebration Bowl, and he saw his team go down. And so, Atkins got injured. His arm was in a sling afterwards. I had a chance to talk to him, and, he was obviously upbeat and happy despite not being able to finish playing the game. But, yeah, Stubblefield, and actually I go back to because I've seen South Carolina State play 5 times this year. So the last time I saw them was at the game against Delaware State, the de facto MEAC championship game, and he was the guy at the end where he kind of came in and punched the lights out for Deshaun Jackson, one of those NFL guys. So, it was definitely I didn't expect him to come out and do that, but obviously what they were doing in the first half wasn't working. They needed a change. Again, nobody wants to have Atkins get an injury, but, I mean, it just kind of was the perfect timing, perfect storm for Stubblefield.
Guys, I thought that I wasn't at the stadium. I watched it from home. I thought that Prairie View – we'll get to that. I thought that Prairie View got maybe a little fancy when they didn't need to on that reverse. and the guy's being ridden down by the defender, if he just eats the ball there, you live to play another day. Man, you talk about a team that was riding high. I mean, I'd written the game. I thought the game was over.
Almost everybody in the stadium probably thought that game was over.
A lot of people said that they were getting ready to leave. I was getting text messages by people like, yeah, I'm about to leave. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Chase Beeman has that ball, and even if he doesn't get yards on that play, you just keep the ball, take the loss of yards versus giving the ball up, and then you don't get the turnover, and then obviously South Carolina State gets the touchdown on the next couple plays. So, yeah, that was the biggest change in momentum there.
Yeah, because in games like this and big games, like the one thing that the coaches are preaching all week, take care of the football.
Yep.
You can't have unexplainable turnovers like that.
Right.
In your own field, what was like 15, 20-yard line?
Yep.
So that's great field position for South Carolina State. And, I mean, you're not going to have Chennis Barry and that South Carolina State team just giving opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. They're not going to be able to score.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, it was just a matter of time before they knocked on the door. And once they knocked on the door and got through the door, it was over. After that, the floodgates open.
How would you guys describe the emotion of overtime? I was getting lost because I was watching it on Disney, and right before one of the field goals they missed, my stream started getting the blue circle of death. I was like, oh no, what happened? And so I was coming in and out, but it was just, man, the emotion of those overtimes. What was it like?
It was high. I was running from sideline to sideline because I wanted to make sure that I got players' reactions, the coach's reaction to the game-winning play.
Because you're trying to anticipate who's going to win.
I'm trying to figure out who's going to
right.
win the game. So I'm jumping from sideline to sideline, and it's overtime after overtime. And if you guys don't know, whenever one overtime ends, they go to the other side of the field.
Right.
So I'm running back and forth, sideline to sideline, one field to the other side of the field. And while I'm going through, I'm catching some of the players. Come on, man. We got one more stop, one more
Right.
play, one more play. And whenever they went for the third overtime, but
Right.
they chose to kneel the ball instead of trying to get yards.
Yeah.
They was on the side like, man, he got ice. He good. He a freshman. He got ice. He been doing good all game.
How about this play right here? The game-winning 2-point conversion. We were seeing it from all angles. Josh shot the big scoreboard up there. What did you guys think in real time? Was he in there?
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw it in real time from the press box and they showed it the replay, I said, I don't know if that's a touchdown. It was very close. But then having gone back and looked at the rule and then looked at the video a little bit more, I said, it depends on what the referees say to this. But it's still questionable if that was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Steve, was it a touchdown?
Well, you know,
Or
I was
a 2-point conversion?
Yeah, it was 2
Yeah,
points because
yeah,
they have to
yeah,
do that. I happened to be on the other side, and I was at the goal line, the pylon, and I got a case of the ref butt in my face. But I was able to see out of my left eye.
For those uninformed at home,
Yes, please explain.
that is
Zebras.
when you're shooting the game. Imagine this is my video camera, and the ref just comes and stops right in front of you. So
The zebras.
butt is in front of the lens, not
Yes, thank you for clearing that up, Tolly. I will.
planted. That could go 20 different ways.
Got to pause that.
I'll,
Right.
I'll drop that in the tweet below this, the actual video. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was. When I saw it, I didn't think it was. I mean, and literally, I was on the Prairie View side, so of course, nobody on that side thought that it was actually a touchdown. So you know, they pulled out the replay, and everybody had to sit there and watch him do it. And yeah, man, you could just feel the air go out of the Prairie View sideline when they got it in there. So I didn't think it was from my vantage point, but I think we got something from Willie Simmons maybe, who was on the back end.
Former FAMU coach.
Former FAMU head coach, now at FIU. So he says, let me clarify the TD rule for everyone who watched the Celebration Bowl today. The end zone does not stop at the pylon. The end zone is infinite line, and the ball crosses the imaginary plane at any point before a body part touches. It's a TD, so it was indeed a touchdown. Proud of both teams. It was a hard-fought game. Congratulations to South Carolina State and head coach Chennis Barry. It was indeed a classic. So that's from Willie Simmons, former FAMU coach who's coached in both conferences, won the Celebration Bowl in 2023. And he was actually, I believe, in the corner of the end zone with some other Celebration Bowl winners as well, Rob Broadway and Sam Washington and those guys. So, you know, he says it was a touchdown. I mean, hey, he knows more football than I know. So, but yeah, it was definitely the air went out on that Prairie View sideline.
Yeah.
Did Prairie View lose this game, or did South Carolina State win it? Let's start with Josh and just answer it rapid fire. Did Prairie View lose it or did South Carolina State win it?
South Carolina State won it. You don't come back from being down 21 not taking it. You got to go take that. They won that game.
Wilton.
South Carolina State won the game, but I will say Prairie View lost it. I mean, they just did because, to your point, once you're up 21, you shouldn't lose a game like that. And
right.
To your point, Tyler, when you said when they entered the second half and they started getting cute with a couple things like you should have just stuck to exactly what you needed to do. I mean, and then also Coach Jermaine Jackson kind of alluded to that in his comments early coming into his press conference that, they kind of got away from a few things. And it just didn't necessarily go their way. So South Carolina State won the game.
Spicy alert.
Yeah, I think it was both. Again, I mean, they were up 21-0. You look at obviously the turnovers, but then they missed a field goal early in the game that would have given them space, which is why when they tried to attempt the field goal to towards the end of the game,
that 31-yard field goal. Yep.
I was just like. And they took a knee. I was like, man, that's a lot of confidence in a guy that just, I mean, you could literally hear and see the ball go off the pylon, off the goal line. So, I mean, I'm not going to say South Carolina State didn't win it because they could have definitely given up. They could have folded. But I just think it was a case of both of those. And I think it's one that on their trip back, they're gonna think about that quite a bit. All the chances that they had to really put the lid on this one.
Let's take a look at the numbers. We do have the team stats, and this was a very tightly contested ball game. Obviously, it goes to 4 overtimes, but when you look at the math on, total yardage, points, the whole nine. Actually, Wilton, I mean, Miles, those are the season averages. We got team stats. Just let me know if you get there from the actual game. There you go. Wilton, break this down for us.
So you look at total yards. Prairie View had more yards, and a lot of that is attested, obviously, to the first half. Those turnovers stand out. I'm going to go through all of them first and then get to the key ones that really, really stand out. First downs, obviously, advantage to South Carolina State. Penalties, South Carolina State had more. Remember, Tolly and Steve, I said third downs would be a key component in this game. Mm-hmm. South Carolina State, 9 of 19. Essentially, I'm not a math person, 50-ish%. When you start talking about third down conversions.
A little less than 50.
Well, yeah, a little less. Yeah,
well,
close to it.
Right there.
Yeah, close to it. Time of possession, obviously South Carolina State. And again, if you looked at the first half of this game, this did not look like that. Now, South Carolina State still had the advantage in time of possession in the first half, but as far as like total yards, first downs, third downs, every advantage to Prairie View.
Josh, what stands out to you there with those stats?
What stands out to me is the third downs, like Wilton said. Being able to convert on third down is very, very, very important against two great defenses. Being able to stay on the field and be able to make sure that your offense is consistently moving the ball down the field whenever you got two great defenses going up against each other. You want to make sure that you can stay on the field on third down so you can keep that ball moving, keep the time ticking on the clock. And as you guys see, South Carolina State dominated the time of possession. Why? Because they won it on third downs.
Yep.
All right, we got some more numbers to look at here. Let's talk a little bit about Prairie View and Cameron Peters. I mean, Wilton. I mean, he did his part.
Yeah.
Ball player.
4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. If I would have told you Cameron Peters would have 412 yards passing, 24 of 36 before the game, would you have taken?
0 picks.
I don't know if I would have said he was going to have 400 yards. I may have said maybe 250, 275, 24, maybe, well, about 18 of 25, 250 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns. But not 4. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, can't remember the exact record, but I know he had the most passing yards in a Celebration Bowl. I forget the name of the quarterback from North Carolina A&T in 2019.
Khalil Carter.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He set a new record. Cameron Peters did, so shout out to him. But no, I would have not expected him to have this record. I mean, have this type of performance, but they needed that. And in the first half, to your point, what you were saying, seeing it from the field, I mean, dude was just dialed in. Like, there was no stopping him. Like South Carolina State could not get any pressure on him. He had all day to throw the ball. He could run wherever he wanted to run. I mean, it was just literally Cameron Peters' world, and we were just in it.
And just to attest to you saying that he was dialed in, so I was on the field filming the game, of course.
Yeah.
And in the pregame, a lot of times I walk up to the players, try to get them to do like little stuff in the camera. You know how players are nowadays. Yep. Didn't say a word.
I believe
Didn't say a word. Locked in. I mean, I'm right up in his face. didn't do anything. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's locked in. This is my first time ever seeing him. Yeah. Kid's a ball player.
All right, now Stubblefield, Steve, this guy comes in off the bench after Atkins is knocked out. Look, they tore Atkins up, man. They hurt his shoulder. Yeah. You saw it on TV. I don't know if you guys got to see it in
his
the
hand was
stadium.
bruised.
I guess
they showed it on TV?
Stepped on his hand. His whole
bruised.
hand was bleeding and bruised. I mean, it was a rough first half. That defense was getting to him, and then Stubblefield comes in.
Yeah, man, they treated Atkins like my guy off New Jack City, man. They treated like they never liked him anyway. I mean, but it was rough for him. But yeah, man, I Ryan Stubblefield, like I talked about it earlier, it's really he brings a different dimension other than Atkins. He actually, is generally a running threat. A lot of times they'll bring him in a running package, like I said, what happened against Delaware State. But I got a chance to see him last year against Norfolk State in the season finale in cleanup duty for Eric Phoenix, and he was doing video game numbers again. Now, again, that was Norfolk State, but he got his chance and he took care of his business. And I just think it was interesting. Yesterday we were talking about how Prairie View is this a really good run team and the things that they were able to do, but neither team was really able to run the ball. This really turned into like a shootout and a pass-happy one at that. So, I think for the South Carolina State defense, I think, obviously giving up 21 points in the first half is not great and 38 points overall. But if you look at how they really made Prairie View one-dimensional, and I don't think that Prairie View wanted to be one-dimensional, especially not in the passing game. I'm sure they would give up some of those passing yards back for some rushing yards. So, and we saw South Carolina State did win the time of possession there. So a lot of games within the game. We heard yesterday, we talked about, Peters being locked in. Again, they didn't let the players come talk. They said we only talk in the post game. So they took on the demeanor of their team, and I got to be when the game was over. Tremaine Jackson looked like Tremaine Jackson. I mean, he was kind of stir-faced, but I didn't get a chance to get into the press conference for.
We'll get there. Let's talk about Mr. Second Half, Jordan Smith. He did not get the MVP, but man, he put up MVP type numbers. Guys, talk about his impact on the game in that second half.
The only reason that young man didn't get MVP is because Ryan Stubblefield got MVP.
Yes.
And if Stubblefield's not able to get the ball to him, he's not having that impact. But from the second half, 9 receptions, 152 yards. If we were able to go back and look at probably every catch that he had, every catch probably felt meaningful. Each one, not just because it would probably extend the drive, but just more so the fact that every catch that they needed really continued to build the momentum that South Carolina State had started in the second half. Because that game was very much, obviously South Carolina State won, that game was very much won based off of momentum from that very first fumble in the second half, and then they just kind of kept going. They just kept growing and growing and growing, and every time South Carolina State needed a play, it was Jordan Smith.
So I played receiver when I was in high school. So me personally, I got a little bias to the receiver, so I would have gave him the MVP. Yeah. But as a receiver, those are video game numbers. 9 catches, 150 yards, 2 tugs, 1 rushing. Yeah. You can't have a better game than that. As a receiver, and you get a ring. Yeah. He's feeling amazing
Josh,
right now.
was it just speed? Was it his route? What was it that Prairie View couldn't stop with Jordan Smith?
I think it was more of his ability to get open and know how to read zones. Because a lot of the times where Prairie View would mess up Atkins they were throwing a lot of different zone coverages at him, combo coverage at him. Sometimes they'll mix it up with man. Jordan Smith was able to, if it's zone, I'm going to settle down right here and get into this open spot. A lot of the times with Stubblefield, I think the reason why he played a little bit more better than Atkins is because he was able to make those second level, third level throws over that, that 3-high defense that the Prairie View runs. Right. So I think him being able to understand, hey, I know his zone right here, I'm going to settle down right here to where Stubblefield can make that throw over their safety that's sitting in that 2-high coverage. Or he was able to, okay, this man-to-man, I know I can beat my man one-on-one through the seam. We're going to get open like that. So, hey.
What about that 4th down? There was that 4th and long. And Stubblefield stepped up. He made that pass. Was it Smith that made the catch?
Yes, it was. Him again.
That's why I just said, of those 9
him
catches.
Again.
If they don't convert there.
It's game over.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's game over. Just to what he said, man, he made every single catch that he needed to make in the biggest moments. And not even just him making the catches in the biggest moments, but it's just as a team, as a player, as a receiver, as a defensive player. You're seeing this like, hey, yo, he's bringing his A game. We got to step up.
Yep.
And like you said, they went off of momentum and stuff like that. Seeing his players like that, like you can see after the touchdowns, his team is coming up, hyping them up because they know these are big plays that we need. And your big-time players step up in the biggest games. Yep. And also, I talked to him after the game. He came in as a freshman, won him a ring.
Yep.
And now he's leaving with a ring.
Yep.
Wow. Great game. You guys had a chance to talk to Chennis Barry. We got one of the graphics of what he had to say. Steve, he came into that press conference with his chest poked out a little bit.
Oh,
there,
it was a little bit more than that.
His whole chest.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep receipts all through the season. We had these conference calls. Nobody would ask me any questions. It was always directed to the 2 NFL guys. I get 1 or 2 questions, and they get 20 or 30. So I want to say that there are some good football coaches that come through HBCUs. So as I explained in the press conference, usually I'm on my way to North Carolina A&T's press conference, so blame the Aggies. No, but I'm trying to stream in my sound doesn't always get together. But anyway, but he's right. You know, obviously last year South Carolina State was the sexy Cinderella story, right? Like they had a D2 coach who let us know he was a D2 coach who did all this barking, and they defied expectations. And then they got to Atlanta and they laid an egg, like they did.
Yeah.
But then this year, obviously, you have Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick. Those are the 2 NFL guys he was talking about. If you don't know, they're coaching there. And so they got a lot of the questions. They were right ahead of him. And then, he's not lying. People, it trailed off afterwards. It wasn't quite as fresh a story at that point. You know what I mean? So, the media, you get caught doing that. But, hey, I mean, they showed and proved today, and they sealed the deal.
I mean, I understand them. I mean, like, whenever you got, I understand, new coaches coming in, everybody wanting to question, oh, the new guy. But you still got to beat the champs, and you still got to come through the champs. And that's what he was saying in that interview. Yeah, y'all got some new cats out here, some new coaches. They're great coaches, but, until you beat the champs, we going to keep claiming this title. And now he got the ring to go with it. Oh, we finna hear from him the whole summer. He not finna let that go.
I was thinking about this earlier when I was watching the game at home. NFL guys have a built-in voice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a D2 guy or, get it from the mud, you've been a long-time assistant, as long as you bring a voice to the table, the entertainment is still there. Like, Chennis Barry had his entertaining moment. We immediately put up the graphic. Like, that makes headlines. That gets clicks. And so if you're a good coach and you're willing to display your personality, it doesn't matter that you weren't in the NFL because winning sells and entertainment gets people hooked in. So, look, if you're not going to show up and say, we're going to give 110% and we're going to win in all 3 phases of the game, and you say that every week, like, you're not lying, but that's not interesting. So Chennis Barry is good, he wins, and he's interesting. So I'm not really worried that he's not, NFL pedigree.
Yeah, he talked about that too. He talked about, when he was hired at Benedict, he had been an assistant for like 25 years. This is his 30th year of coaching this year. And so how he was a guy who only had 1 offer. So, I've been around enough guys in this profession to know guys get motivated like that,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, Trey Oliver,
Classic
that's
example.
Buddy Pugh, they get motivated by that. And so, and I was at MEAC Media Day, after that fact in Baltimore, and Deshaun Jackson came in there. He said, hey, they're not going to, he said they were going to respect all but fear none. And they're not taking any prisoners, and gave us that Tupac laugh at the end. And, for most of the season he didn't, but when it came down to it, the veteran coach got it, and he got it again today. So a lot to get there.
Well, we talk about entertainment, and entertainment is part of the reason why people fill the stands. One of the big stories coming in, because of several different reasons, this was the first time the Celebration Bowl was 1 week right after the SWAC championship. You didn't have that 2-week buildup. You go right from the SWAC championship to the Celebration Bowl. So we wanted to know, would Prairie View fans show up? Would South Carolina State fans show up? So let's take a look at the all-time attendance records for now that we have 10 solid games, and today's attendance came in at 26,703. Wilton, that would be number 9 of the 10 games. And me and Steve talked about it. We said if it was in the 20s, we'd be a little disappointed. We didn't expect the 40s. We were hoping for the 30s.
Yeah, we were hoping for the 30s. The reality is, I'm glad that it wasn't like 20, 21. Initially, I know on yesterday I said at best if it gets to be 25-5, I would be okay. But to your point, hopefully people now know that this Prairie View team, because I don't see Prairie View as a team that's going to go away anytime soon. I think they're actually going to be good for a while. Like, this is a Tremaine Jackson squad that, kind of like how we said about Chennis Barry and South Carolina State last year, like, we knew that we wouldn't necessarily see South Carolina State go away. So I'm expecting Prairie View to be around. So with them being around, I'm hoping that fans will now see that, hey, we have a product that we can truly buy into. We have a team that we need to probably go support, not just in big games, not just a Celebration Bowl or the lack thereof as much, a SWAC championship, but we need to start supporting in the regular season.
At home.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Prairie View, if you look at them, they had a long losing streak back before most of us were paying attention to college football. And so they were known for that. And so when you have that type of situation, it can wear on a fan base. And they've only had I think this is only their second SWAC title.
Since 2009.
Yeah, it's their second since 2009, but before that I think you had to go back to the 60s. So, when programs are down like that for a long time, it takes a long time too. And we talked about the distance as well. Mm-hmm. It was noticeably lighter on the SWAC side this year. Yeah. Even in that back area where folks kind of hang and drink and smile and laugh, it wasn't nearly as packed there. South Carolina State probably, MEAC side was probably more full, which probably the first time that's ever happened.
And Coach Jackson actually talked about it a little bit in his presser about like his guys playing in front of people where basically in front of stands that's fairly empty for a winning team. Mm-hmm. And you can't really be mad at him for saying that because, look at the stands. We're talking about the numbers now. But I just hope, just to reiterate, I hope that Prairie View fans now know that you have someone that's a true leader, dedicated to your program. Your program can only get better going forward, so you should probably get back, go ahead and back them.
I don't want to be messy. I don't want to be messy.
Go ahead and be messy.
I don't want to be. I
support that.
But me and Steve was at the Battle of the Bands last night.
Yeah.
I want to see the numbers compared. It was a pretty good crowd last night at the Battle of the Bands. Now, I know it's not going to be anywhere close to, really, but, I just want to see, how many people was actually, the number that it was. Yeah. Because there was a good crowd out there at the Battle of the Bands, and it was from being in the stadium, walking around the stadium, seeing, Battle of the Bands, just a lot of different schools. So last night, I seen A&T, Morgan State, Fayetteville State, Miles, Albany State. I seen the whole, bands from everywhere. Today, it just seemed like a lot of South Carolina State and Prairie View. Yeah. Where are the rest of the fans at?
Because Atlanta is the HBCU alumni capital of the world.
Yep.
So it's pop out to the game. Y'all was there last night. Why y'all not here tonight?
Yeah, it definitely was a much better crowd at the Red Lobster Band of the Year. This is year 3 for them. Mm-hmm. First year they kind of let people sit however they wanted to, and it kind of looked very sparse. Last year got a little bit better, and then Friday night was definitely the best crowd that they had. And shout out to the 2 winners on the collegiate level, Miles College for the Division II. Sorry, Fayetteville State, Marching Bronco Express, but you look good. You look good. You sounded good too.
Sounded great.
But Miles, they kind of got that thing.
What was this the first year that they did high school?
No, this is year 2 for high school. So the high school bands did well as well, and then FAMU and Southern. We at one time were hoping for that as a Celebration Bowl matchup. Can't happen now, but those are 2 fan bases that get energized going up against each other anyway. And so they had them in the band of the year, and it was an emotional night. FAMU trying to defend their title, and Southern trying to claim it. And I think I predicted a Southern win last night. I think I predicted that.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah,
I think I predicted it.
Who did I predict? Did I? I can't remember.
I think you did say
I predicted Southern. We both predicted Southern.
I think you said Miles. Yeah. But so great story for them. Just they have been impacted by the passing of Caleb Williams, a young man who was
Wilson.
Yep.
Caleb Wilson, who was passed away in a tragic accident that police say involved hazing fraternity-wise. So, it's been a tough year for them, but they have, kind of battled on in his memory. And so last night I got a chance to talk to their band director, and he was really happy with the win and obviously thinking about Caleb. And so it was a great night. Again, like we said the other night, people like to say that real SWAC bands won't win the band of the year, or this is for MEAC bands, but Southern did their thing, and it was a good night.
How would you guys rate the weekend altogether? Because this year was different, only because it just felt more compressed, because we're literally coming out of SWAC championship, and you don't kind of get that little bit of rest and then a little bit of anticipation. It was full throttle all the way through the season.
I'll go first. From the rookie on the set, I'm the rookie. This is only my second Celebration Bowl, but I think this weekend was great for me. I actually like it being pushed up more. I actually like it being the Battle of the Bands on Friday than the event on Saturday, because I think it can do a better job at getting more people involved into the game on Saturday. Overall, though, I love the game. The game was amazing. I mean, it spoke for itself. The highlights speak for itself. The 4 overtime speak for itself. And like Steve said, the Battle of the Bands was amazing last night. Me personally, I love hearing the bands play. I went to the Florida Classic last year, went to their Battle of the Bands. That was amazing. With
caught a good one.
Yeah, with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, they had the high schools out there. So I love the Battle of the Bands. Last night was amazing. Today was amazing. I give this whole weekend just an A+ for me.
I think the weekend was good. But it did feel rushed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just coming from, as a person who went and watched the SWAC championship game, then coming here, it just felt a little bit more rushed. Now, the game today, I didn't have expectations of what this game was gonna look like. I just knew it was 2 great teams, 2 great coaches. Personally, I thought it was gonna be somewhat of a defensive battle, but I never thought it was gonna be 4 overtimes, offensive shootout, high level passing. That's not what I thought this game would be. But I'm glad it went that way, because it delivered. I'm glad to see, Prairie View as a program starting to come back to life. A South Carolina State team. I mean, everybody loves a good redemption story. And I think the one thing I took away specifically with Chennis Barry when he walked into that press conference, he just looked like a proud father listening to his athletes talk. Like, you could tell, even though this question was asked, you could tell he was overcome with emotion. He didn't say it. He said it, but he didn't say everything. But you could just kind of tell he was just really appreciative of this moment, and more so of how they won this game.
Yeah, I think it was a solid weekend. Again, I've been able to go to all 10 of them now in person. When we were talking afterwards about the best one. It's not the best one for me. It's still that Jackson State, North Carolina Central is still still the high water mark for me.
I got to give you that one.
But, good competitive game. It's just, you see kind of some of the, we've been blessed to have some really good matchups in terms of brands. We could have had a Delaware State Prairie View matchup, but what would that have looked like? You never know until it happens. But I think this was good for a new fan base. Well, not a new fan base, but a fan base to get exposed there. So I think it was a solid weekend. Man, just gotta man, come on, SWAC. The rest of the SWAC needed to lift Prairie View A&M up a little bit more. So they're gonna probably get me for the comments in that. But hey, that's what happens.
Like, just imagine real quick. Just imagine how much more it would, if they can come back in that game, because Steve was there, you was in the press box.
Right.
The momentum that hit the side of South Carolina State whenever they got that fumble and scored, it was really you could feel it. If you was there, you could really feel it.
Even in the press box.
You could feel it.
Yeah.
So Prairie View had it. They tried to bring it with the band, the crowd. They tried to hype them up a couple times, but it's
and I think a
little bit more.
I think you had to know that because these were 2 well-coached teams, that this game wasn't going to – I didn't personally think it was going to stay a 21-0 or 35-0 or whatever. I knew eventually South Carolina State would get on the board. But you could have never had me to think, oh, yeah, we just going to casually go to the first Celebration Bowl overtime game. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4.
Four.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the second. 'cause
Well, it's
the
second, but
Central-
yeah.
The Central
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
yeah.
Was
Right,
that 3
right.
or was that 4?
Nah, that was just one.
Yeah, yeah,
That was just
It
one.
was just
Yeah.
one. So yeah, this is definitely the longest.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it was a last-second touchdown that forced the overtime, which was
Right.
dramatic. We talked about comments. Before we get out of here, we want to thank all of our fans for their support throughout football season, and we'll continue to talk football, but we want to give the fans an opportunity to talk a little bit here. So we got Brian Cowan. These are all comments from Facebook. He says, Prairie View pulled a 2017 Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good one.
In
I ain't
the-
gonna lie, that's a good one. I ain't gonna lie,
It
that's a
is.
good one.
On their own field.
I ain't gonna lie, that's
Yikes.
a good one. He cooked with that one because
Yeah.
that got a lot of context to it. Because he was on the Falcons field,
Yeah.
2017. Hey, you cooked on that one, Brian.
Yeah, you
I
did.
might have to follow you.
Shout
for that
out
one.
to you, man.
I might have to follow you for that one.
All right, we got more comments. So let's see what else they're talking about. Carla Brown says, controversial touchdown to win the game, but PV should have taken that 21-point lead momentum of the first half to win the second half.
Absolutely.
And they did not.
Yep.
All right, what else do we got? Tim Kemp, old school Bulldog playing. I just happened to be on the PV side raising the roof. Yeah, you're old school if you're still raising the roof. He was barking and being told he was on the wrong side and all that trash talking. They took a humble spanking like they were in the Orangeburg. Go Bulldogs. And I think we got one more. Bernice Wright. She says, great game, Bulldogs. Quitters don't win and winners don't quit. Congratulations to the coaches, their staff, Marching 101, and the loyal supporters. She's a Bulldog for life, class of 1962. I know Miss
Come on now.
Wright is getting down tonight in the living room.
Come on now.
They're having a good
Miss
time.
Bernice.
She's calling Brenda and Shirley, and they're just having a ball talking
Wayne
about
dang
South
do.
Carolina State. Hey, man, I like that Coco Taylor, man. All right, so your final thoughts on the 2025 football season, Josh?
Me personally, I had a great season. I think it was a great season. All in all, some other matchups probably would have did better with numbers and been better with attendance, but I don't think that any other matchup would have put together that good of a football game that we just watched. And that's what's most important, putting together the best football matchups and putting together the best football that the fans can watch for new fans or current fans. If you are a fan of football, no matter if you went to a HBCU, BW, no matter what, if you are a fan of football, you enjoyed that game. And that's all that really matters.
Yep. I mean, to summarize 2025, it's been an up and down roller coaster. I mean, from the SWAC to the MEAC, for many weeks we talked about, this is from the MEAC standpoint. A lot of times we talked about the fact of where Delaware State was, how they've, climbed into, national attention. And then, of course, Trey Oliver's North Carolina Central. But then you and I, Tolly and Simone, that's who needs to be on the show right now. Because she picked, like Delaware State, Norfolk State, my teams. Shout out to them. But, we just saw South Carolina State just kind of fly under the radar the entire season. Yep. And granted, they get to this point, not only were they down, but they come back and win in true redemption format, right? Yep. And then you talk about the SWAC, man, I mean, it probably is in 1 out of 200 people that didn't think that Jackson State would have been in this game, right? But Jackson State will be back. Alabama State, what an incredible season for them. 10-win season, first time since 2004. You got Alabama A&M that should be back on the men next year. Southern has a new coach. So, it's so many things to get excited about in HBCU football. And while certain teams had subpar or bad seasons, some of those same teams I think will be back in 2026.
Yeah, I think this was just another reminder why this game is so great for those of us that remember before you had it again. It used to just be that, the end of the season would be whoever went to the playoffs and lost. And that would be it. So, again, I think, 10 years of having making a really festive crowning of a HBCU champion is definitely come full circle. And, I don't think that there's anything that could top it. As great as the playoffs are, I just think it's a special way to end the season.
It's a great game. Every time you come in, the SWAC always seems to have the momentum because they have more schools. The fan bases are so crazy. Look, at halftime, I was sitting there thinking, I said, man, Prairie View, Jackson State, and Alabama State could beat South Carolina State. Looking at this game, I was like, man, we should just define the national champion out of the SWAC. They're up 21-0.
Johnson C. Smith could have beat him.
Johnson C. Smith.
Union.
Albany State.
But that's why you play the game till the very end. South Carolina State comes back, and the MEAC has always found a way to spoil the party for the SWAC and all those rabid fan bases by winning this game more times than they lose it.
7-3.
I was going to ask that. So real quick, so
7-3.
what's the record between the MEAC and the SWAC in the celebration?
7-3.
7-3.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the MEAC is up 7-3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I think
4 of those from a school that's no longer in the conference. But
Count on him to
Okay, here
give
we
us a
go.
North Carolina A&T
Here we
stat.
go.
I'm
Here
just
we
saying.
go.
I'm
Here
just.
we go.
No, I mean, listen. You know.
No, you know, it's real. It's
Because
real.
I heard.
Here we
I
go.
heard my name was mentioned. I
Here
mean,
we
so
go.
look, I'm giving them their credit. In Cat 1-4.
But I think I think that's so important to this game because the SWAC is going to dominate headlines because it's just math. They have twice as many schools,
Yes.
so that's twice as many fan bases.
That's real.
That's twice as many eyeballs, right? And if the SWAC was to dominate this, it would quickly become boring. Like you would lose interest.
It would be like, why are we playing this?
Right.
Yeah.
That does bring one thing, though. It kind of brings it full circle. I was in the corner of the end zone, and I talked about where Willie Simmons, Trey Oliver, T.C. Taylor, and all of those guys were at. Also sitting there was Tariq Cohen. You know, so he was there enjoying the game. And, I mean, that's a great full circle moment from the original one, you know, where he came out and had that breakout game and, you know, with everything that he went on to do after that. So I think that just kind of shows the full circle level of it. And, you know, those guys, NCAT and South Carolina State, they aren't friends, but, and, you know, North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, they battle every year, but you could audibly hear those guys cheering for South Carolina State.
Yep.
So, you know, and I'm sure some of the same stuff was going on in the SWAC on the SWAC side as well. So, and I think it's just again a really great way to wrap a bow on the HBCU football season as we get into the Christmas year.
All right, so hoops coming up. We will still talk plenty of football because football never stops. You got transfer portal, you got recruiting, you got spring ball. So the conversation will go on. But the 2025 season ends as we crown the new HBCU national champion. Once again, they are back on top, South Carolina State University. Congratulations to Coach Chennis Barry, his staff, his players, and all the fans. You can talk your talk all the way until August, because you are the champions. For the entire HBCU Game Day crew, I'm Tolly Carr. Shout out to Miles in the back. Miles always doing a great job directing, producing the show.
Shout out to Miles,
Shout out
man.
to you, Miles.
Bulldogs are growling back there in
Shout out to the
Orangeburg
whole
about something.
crew. Wally, Simone, the whole HBCU Game Day crew.
Kobe.
Kobe.
It's been a
All
great
of 'em.
season.
Yeah,
Great
it's
season.
been great.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for hanging out with us. Until next time, we will see you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.